It's the news and information you want and the hour of radio you simply can't miss. The KBOW Party Line. Today's show is brought to you by
The Party Line, brought to you by great community-minded businesses like Brothers Water Treatment Services, Shea Realty, Town Pump, proud to be a business from Butte, Shedhorn Sports, Butte Floral, United Way of Butte and Anaconda, Janelle Morgan, your Century 21 real estate agent, Harrington Surgical Supply, the Broken Arrow Steakhouse and Supper Club, Southwest Montana Community Health Center, the Continental Gardens, Dugan Dolan Mortuary, Crazy Carol's Casino, Community Hospital of Anaconda, and Silverbow Trophy and Engraving, all joining together to bring you the KBOW Party Line. Hello, everybody. Wednesday, April 14th, 1:07 on the Party Line. And we were just sitting in the studio shivering, talking about how April cold is cold. And it is 30 degrees on the outside with a bit of a wind chill, making it even a little bit chillier today. So with that kind of weather, with that kind of forecast, and everything going on, it's a perfect time to talk about gardening.
It is, and it is National Gardening Day.
Well, and of course, everywhere but Butte, Montana.
Yeah. Oh.
Unless you're growing icicles. This is the perfect weather for them.
Yes.
And we have some gardening experts to help us.
We do.
So today is our brown bag lunch for April as we team up with the archives to bring you some great topics of interest. Usually you would have a lunch, ladies, thanks. Anyway, but you'd have a brown bag lunch and sit down and have a discussion. So
yes.
And Kim, you're in charge.
I am. Feel free to jump in though. So
I don't.
I'll give you that look, like please.
You do. No, you give me the other one that says "Shut up, Davis." I'm used to that one too. So, anyway, but you've got a great cast of characters with us today.
We do. So I've always loved to garden, and
pick me. I just bought a greenhouse.
You did?
16 by 16 hoop house with 3-foot walls.
Is this the one that's in your garage?
No, it's not. No, that's the nursery.
Oh, that's the nursery. Okay.
I have raised beds with hoops that I put over them, but I just bought a greenhouse because I heard you guys were coming.
I know. Isn't that exciting?
Sherry's going to bring in a bunch of cool stuff, and Julie's going to share some good stuff, and we're going to be together.
Well, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the history of gardening in Butte because I just did a program at the library about it and thought, well, I can talk about that on the radio. And then Julie is a master gardener. And she's also very involved with the Park Street Community Garden, so she's going to tell us a little bit about that.
I'm highly jealous of that garden.
And then it's kind of watched over, administered by the public library, so Shari Curtis is going to come and tell us how the library pulls all of this garden stuff together and their seed catalog and... Yeah, it's going to be fun.
I'm just really having an issue here with her all the way down there because usually when Sherry's here, she's all the way up
She's
over
the
here.
boss, right?
Yeah.
I know.
So she's long distance.
I know.
I mean, I guess this is social distancing times 2, I guess.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. Well, we just don't usually have this many people in the studio. So.
Yeah. What now?
It's going to be fun.
We go at our shots. Everybody have your shots?
Yes.
Yeah, we're all set. So.
Yeah. I've got one more week before I'm clear.
My day was yesterday.
Total.
I'm clear. So yesterday was my final 2 weeks after my last shot.
It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's nice. So,
why don't you get us started?
So I'm going to get you started.
I got to see if Brett started recording this. You go ahead and get us started.
Oh, yes. Make sure that we're recording it.
See if you got this going because...
you just saw my thumb drive.
Look at that. It's going. He's so good.
Yes. Thank you.
All right.
So... I want to tell you a little bit, mainly about like 2 women who are given a lot of credit here in Butte. Jessie Knox, and she came very, very early on. Jessie Knox and Alma Higgins. And a lot of people have heard of Alma Higgins.
Yes.
And but not as many people have heard about Jessie Knox. And she's I'm her champion. She was here before Alma. She was a young widow, had inherited a little bit of money, and she arrived in Butte about 1891 and built the first greenhouse here in Butte, way down in Inglewood. You know where Inglewood is?
Mm-mm.
Well, you obviously didn't read my blog post. from 3 years ago or 5 years ago.
Jeez, I missed that one.
I know. It's all about gardening. It was like, what is Inglewood? Because I bet the bus drivers in town know what Inglewood is. Because if you've been behind a bus in town, it'll flash Inglewood. And you go, where is that? Well, on Harrison Avenue, you know where on one corner there's the Glacier Bank and kind of kitty corner is the fire department, the fire station?
Yeah.
Glacier Bank.
Down by Emerson School. Emerson would be behind the fire hall.
Yeah.
That general area.
Down. It's the
Downey
corner of
Drive.
Marcia and Harrison is where it is.
I was just there doing a deposit about a half hour ago.
There you go. Well, then
That's Inglewood?
That is Inglewood.
Really?
That is where Jesse Knox built the first greenhouses here in Butte because people said you can't grow anything there. They were still smelting. There was a lot of pollution going on. There was bad air. And they said, you can't grow anything here. And she said, you just watch me. And so she did. She started things in her greenhouse. She grew carnations. And let me see, I've got a list of what she grew. Of course, I can't find it.
Print's too small.
Geraniums and carnations. And it makes me wonder, is that why geraniums, am I even saying that right? It's one of those words that has lost its meaning to me now. I'm wondering if I see so many of them here in Butte because of her. Like it's just been carried around and carried along. So
She proved they could grow here.
She proved they could grow here. So she would grow them. And in 1893, they had a flower show, the first flower show. And she invited people to come out and look at her Inverness gardens, as she called them, or the Inverness greenhouse. And you know, people started getting inspired and planting gardens and planting trees. And she encouraged people to do that. And she started growing roses and teaching people how to do that. And she became so good that she went to San Diego in 1912. And she was kind of the hostess at like the Rose Pavilion or something at San Diego. And yeah, so that was kind of cool. Her family stayed here. And she sold the greenhouses to the men who ultimately became the gardeners out at the Columbia Gardens.
Really?
Yeah. So that's kind of cool.
So they continue to grow them in Inglewood then?
I think
for the
they
gardens?
did. I think they did.
Kind of as their nursery?
Yes. And she also kind of started the first florist business here. Prior to her, people would buy flowers mainly just for funerals. Mm-hmm. That was it. So she started a floral business, and, you know, now we have several florists and kind of created a market for flowers for other occasions besides funerals and weddings. They would have flowers for weddings as well. But so you could imagine that. Send your mother some flowers.
How big were the greenhouses?
They were big. They were really big. They probably stretched. See, I printed everything out so small, I really can't read them. Probably stretched from Florence, almost the full width of the block up to Harrison Avenue.
Wow.
Yeah. Nice long greenhouses. So she was our first historic gardener, and she left about 1910, and she left and moved to California in 1910, and it wasn't until later Alma Higgins, who is a native of Deer Lodge County, so she grew up in Deer Lodge. And the man she married, she was a Bielenberg, and Bielenberg is a big name in Deer Lodge County, as well as here in Butte. And she married a man named Higgins, and he was a mining engineer, moved here. And she gained her fame as the Christmas tree lady. But she was also told, you can't grow stuff in Butte. It's too polluted. You know, you can't grow anything there. And again, she started teaching people, yes, you can. She was one of the founders of the Rocky Mountain Garden Club. And each garden club had its own little neighborhood division. And through the garden clubs, they would teach people really how to grow gardens. And she would take slides of these gardens, and then she would hand paint them. Because this would have been in, I think, the 30s and 40s that she was actively doing this. And and even in the 20s, I think. So she would hand paint these slides, and then they would show them in the movie theaters, like before the movie. They would show these slides of local homes with these beautiful gardens. And the archives has those slides. They have all the hand-colored slides.
Because there was no color film.
Because there was no color film.
Everything was black and white.
Yeah, as my dad likes to say, the world was black and white back then.
We remember that.
That's one of his favorite. That's one of my dad's dad jokes. Yeah. When he was growing up, the world was black and white. So those are the two women, and she's known as the Christmas Tree Lady because she wrote a letter, I think, to Woodrow Wilson or Calvin Coolidge, one or the other. I think it was Calvin Coolidge, and said, you should have a living Christmas tree. And he said, okay. And so she promoted the idea of a living Christmas tree, of, the ones that are alive in the ground, and planting those Christmas trees and decorating those. So she gained national prominence. She would write a column in national magazines for women about how to garden, and kind of took off from there. So Butte has a deep history with flower gardening here in Butte, and also with vegetable gardening. Some of my research revealed that there were 3 different areas of 3 different locations for the Chinese gardens. And a lot of people are aware that the Chinese gardens out by the 9 Mile. And a lot of people pointed out, that's where the Chinese gardens were. Well, in my research, I found that before they were at the 9 Mile, they were at Horse Canyon, or just south of Horse Canyon, which would be right between the concentrator and maybe East Middle School, about where Howard Street is. So that's where they were first, and people wanted to develop that as a residential area as the community was growing, and at their turn of the 20th century, and so they moved out to the 9 Mile. But there were also some gardens up about where the community hospital was on Harrison Avenue, so kind of up in that area between NCAT and
you mean on Continental Drive?
I mean on Continental Drive. Sorry.
Up by the Poor Farm.
Between the Poor Farm and the community hospital that was built later. So there were some Chinese gardens out there as well. So a lot of gardening happening in Butte for such a cold place. And I think it's just by sheer determination that people decide they're going to grow stuff.
We're going to show them.
We're going to show them.
And there are a lot of great greenhouses in Butte, because you go down by Kmart, where the Kmart building is, used to be big greenhouses there. There were greenhouses in multiple locations. I know different places in town, out by the country club area, Lake Anoka area, there were greenhouses that were standing even in my childhood.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Well, even where the, what's the new hotel above, down on
you're talking about Father Sheehan Park?
Above Father Sheehan, yes.
Yeah, there were greenhouses there
There
as
was
well.
a greenhouse, those were greenhouses
Or Thurman
there.
Supply and that area.
Thurman's, yeah. And I'm wondering if that's why that area was kind of called Floral Park, because they have greenhouses down there.
Could have been.
So, could have been. So
gardening has a history in this town.
Gardening does have a history in this town. A history of told, no, you can't, and people going, yes, we can. And we have the proof. We have beautiful gardens. There was, as I was looking at the slides, I kept going, I recognize that house. It was ringing a bell, and I realized that 2 of the slides I had chosen are over by Clark Park, like on Argyle Street and that area over there. So, we have probably like 130 or 150 of these hand-colored slides. People might recognize their homes.
Interesting. I grew up in that area, and Argyle, that whole area right above the Clark's Park.
Right.
Still this day has some beautiful yards and beautiful gardens.
And it makes you wonder, were they established in the 20s and 30s as part of the this garden club movement that they had? Because there were 13 divisions of the Rocky Mountain Garden Club, but pretty much each neighborhood. And they would each have their little projects. Most of the projects seemed to be to beautify the neighborhood school. So they would, plant gardens and trees and things around the schools.
So during this time, was some of the gardening put into place to make fresh air? Because, of course, we all know that plants put off oxygen.
I don't know if that
With
was
all
the
the
purpose at the
horrible
time.
things in the
Right, right. Of course, they weren't smelting anymore yet. All the smelting was going on
By
in
that time,
Anaconda.
By Higgins's time,
Yes.
but not before. So.
Yes,
okay.
yes. And so I don't know if it was so much to clean the air or just to prove that it could be done. You know, that.
Imagine somebody from Butte saying that.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, there were, whoops, I think I jiggled there. You know, there were a lot of yards that just didn't even have grass in it.
Yeah.
You know, the Clark Chateau was to this day does not have grass in the yard. It has a patio because they said, oh, you know, you can't, grass won't grow in Butte. And maybe at a time it did not.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there used to be trees too. So, well, I got to take a time out.
Okay.
And when we come back, we'll continue our discussion today on the Brown Bag Lunch. Our theme is gardening.
It is.
And historic gardening and, yes, present gardening.
And present.
We're going to continue our conversation on the party line right after this time out.
In addition to some of the best water treatment, softeners, and filters, Brothers Water Treatment and Pump Service offers water well pump installation to residents in Butte and surrounding area. From frost-free hydrants, pressure tanks, on-demand pumps, and regular maintenance, Brothers Water Treatment provides timely service to each customer. With over 40 years water experience, choose Brothers Water Treatment and Pump Service. Free bids available. Call 559-0261. Brothers Water Treatment and Pump Service, owned and operated by Wayne Brothers.
Hi, this is Jennifer Shea with Century 21 Shea Realty. The market is exceptionally strong and we need more inventory. If you are thinking of selling your residential, commercial, land, or ranch property, we have outstanding marketing tools through Century 21. So call one of our 25 real estate professionals today. We have offices in Butte, Anaconda, Great Falls, and Bozeman, serving all of Montana. Give us a call, 406-723-5455. Gary and Jennifer Shea, broker owners.
Century 21 Shea Realty, independently owned and operated.
No matter how far you may go, there's always one just down the road. Town Pump, who pump it up, pump it up.
Try out the new Truly Hard Tea Seltzer at your local Town Pump. Pick up a variety of 12-pack cans for $15.99. Lay's XL chips are 2 for $6. Town Pump, convenient, fast, and right down the road.
Town Pump, right down the road, pump it up. Oh, yeah.
At Shedhorn Sports, their staff lives for the outdoors, and if you do too, they're just waiting to share their knowledge and point you to the right product from their amazing inventory. Shedhorn sells only the best name brands in the outdoor industry. If they wouldn't use them, then they don't sell them. Brand names made in the USA like Henry Rifles, 2A Armament, Blackwater Shotguns, and so many more. And made in Montana products too. Standing up for America and our great state of Montana. Shedhorn Sports, downtown Ennis, and all the time at shedhorn.com.
We're back, the KBOW party line, 125, and it's Brown Bag Wednesday. The Brown Bag Lunch with the Butte Archives. Kim, our hostess today, leading us through gardening. We just learned a lot about the history of gardening in Butte, and Kim, and that's just the start of what you have planned
Just
for
the
us.
beginning. I'm going to let my friends talk here too. And we're going to switch gears a little bit, talk about vegetable gardening, and a little bit about Hanson Packing, you know, the meat packing place.
Really?
They grew a ton of vegetables out there and employed a lot of people.
Down below the bridges.
Um,
Oh, Hanson over here.
Hanson.
Over
Yeah.
here off
Hanson
of
Packing,
Western Boulevard.
yeah.
I was thinking of Hanson, what we call the meat packing plant down
Yeah.
down by West Elementary. So you're talking the original where the stack is still... Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they grow a lot of vegetables out there. A lot of vegetables.
Wow.
So fields and fields and fields of vegetables. So, and that's kind of the focus of the Park Street Community Garden is gardens that produce food and stuff. So I am going to let these ladies tell you about the Park Street Community Garden. And like I said, Julie Bushmaker is here. She is a master gardener. And you've been on here with me before, haven't you? Yeah, with genealogy. She does a little bit of everything. So
I'm all right with that.
I know.
I'm looking forward to the garden discussion here.
Yes. So, Julie, tell us a little bit about the history of the Park Street Community Garden.
It was began in 2009 by a number of volunteers who just got together that wanted to beautify a little bit of uptown Butte area, make a quiet place where people could come and just enjoy the gardens, and to also benefit the Butte Food Bank. And so they got together, and there's 21 plots now, raised beds, that are inside an enclosed garden area so that the animals don't get into it. And
and where is it?
It's actually at 617 West Park Street, and right next to there's restaurants up there, and it's just a nice area.
Is it that block where the Hummingbird Cafe is?
Right by the Hummingbird Cafe.
Right.
Yep. And that area now in 2017 was taken over by the library, and they are actually the group that kind of oversee the area. So I'll let Shari talk just a little bit about what the library got involved in doing.
Yeah, well, we basically administer it. You come and get the plots from us. We make sure the mulch is delivered, stuff like that. But yeah, it was handed to us by a previous MSU extension, and it came to the library because the lot is actually owned by the county. So they wanted a county agency to take it over and take care of it. And so it seemed to fit in well, too, with our mission.
Now, do people have to bring water, or is there water on the site?
There's water on the site.
Nice.
And like I said, we deliver mulch and compost and topsoil. There are gardening tools there that you have access to, so you don't need to actually
show up. That's it.
You show up.
That's it.
Bring your gloves, I would say, but
unless you want to get dirt under your nails to look like a gardener.
Yeah.
You know.
I started actually gardening there about 2 years ago because I live about another 1,000 feet up, and so I decided, maybe I'd like to see what grows in Butte.
What grows in Butte.
And see what I could garden maybe at 1,000 feet
at
higher.
At a lower altitude.
Yeah, at a lower altitude, yeah. And everybody
6,000
in
instead of 7.
yeah. And so I've gardened there for 2 years now, and Shari got me kind of interested, and I bought a plot for $30 to use for the year. And then at the end of the year, I had a few things that I could donate then to Butte Emergency Food Bank. And so I just enjoyed it so much that the next year I decided to rent 2 plots. And so the next year I kind of expanded from my usual things like carrots, bok choy, some tomatoes. Everybody's got to try tomatoes, onions, and I decided, I'm going to put in some more things like potatoes, and potatoes went crazy there.
I love growing potatoes.
Yeah.
That's the one non-flower. I'm a flower gardener, but I love growing potatoes. It's fun.
And so they kind of got me hooked. And this year, last year actually, with the 2 plots, then I was able to use the seed catalogs that we have at the library. So it was minimal money put into a fun garden time. So for $60 and a few tomato plants, plus all the seeds that the library gave me, I was able to produce quite a little bit of produce then for the emergency food bank. Cool. So that was fun.
Shari, tell us about the seed library.
So the seed library was started by a predecessor of mine, and it's a library like any other. You come, we have an assortment of seeds. We have a lot of seeds.
Are they all vegetables, or they mix
No,
vegetables
they're mixed
and
flowers, vegetables, and you check them out in the spring, plant them. Hopefully they grow and produce under your loving care. And then at the end of the year, we ask that you let a couple of plants go to seed, save those seeds, and bring them back to us. Because the idea of a seed library is that it's local. You know, not everything does well here in Butte. But if you have a seed library and we only get back seeds that grow well here, that do well and produce plants, then they will do well the next year. Because, seeds, they're produced for the average United States, and Butte is not average. I would say that. So it's really kind of a return to personalized microclimate does well seeds. So we do have quite a few commercial seeds, because that's mostly what we have so far, but we're hoping that the more people who take them and grow them and bring them back, then we get a more and more.
In a few generations, a few plant generations, I should say, you should be able to develop some nice hardy product there.
Maybe some tomatoes that grow in Butte.
Yeah, yeah, cool.
There is such a thing.
Yes.
Yeah, you can get them to go. A couple things I have found that will do great in Butte is garlic.
Oh, yeah.
If you plant garlic, it goes great. And also kohlrabi goes wonderful in Butte, which I love, so I don't mind growing it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've started growing mustard, growing collards, growing kohlrabi, beets, beans and peas. I'm really surprised how many things that I can get to grow at the community garden. They're really fun. So it's been a fun adventure.
When we were gardening the big garden down by East, we had cantaloupe, we had watermelon. We actually put down heated mats and then put the soil on top, and so we could keep the ground warm.
Wow.
And we were able to grow cantaloupe and watermelon in Butte.
How big were they?
Those
little tiny palm-sized ones?
No, the cantaloupe was about about the size of a volleyball.
Nice.
The fruit we had, and then the watermelon.
That's a good size.
Maybe the size of a football.
Not bad.
Pumpkins, we had 75-pound pumpkins.
Oh.
Wow.
Wow.
Just by heating the ground.
By heating it underneath.
Using the ground mats. So you can grow.
Right.
If you're willing to invest in electricity.
Yes.
You can grow.
Yeah, we
But you
don't have
don't need that.
electricity there,
Yeah.
but we do have lots of water that makes it really easy. We
Yeah.
have really nice hoses now, and we would like to start looking at doing some watering that we aren't using sprinklers and stuff.
Do you have hoops? Do you do a hoop
have
on
hoops.
yours? So
Yeah, we
I'm
have
just
hoops,
curious.
so we can start a little earlier and keep our gardens going a little bit longer. But one of the things that we're looking at this year is building some cold frames so that we can actually have extended probably by a month and a half our gardening season up there.
So maybe some old screen doors or old windows to make your cold frames. Those
Right.
come in handy, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Now,
Yeah.
it's interesting because when I was reading this 1906 article about the Chinese gardens, they didn't use greenhouses to start everything. And they started everything from seed, but they didn't use greenhouses. They used cold frames and raised beds and mulch and, everything that you're talking about now. So
Well, it worked then. It's still going to work now.
It worked brilliantly for the Chinese gardeners. They were known for the high quality of vegetables that they produced out there. So if they could do it without greenhouses from seed, I think anybody in Butte could do it up at the community garden.
I want a greenhouse. I'm
Yeah.
cheating.
Yeah, I got to get my flowers started soon. I don't have a greenhouse though; they're going to be all over the kitchen.
I built an outdoor nursery with grow lights for the
Nice.
nursery, but I still have some things in the house. I'm not sure what they are. But
You know when they bloom.
all right, we're going to take another time out. We come back. We continue our discussion of gardening today. It's a brown bag lunch with the Butte Archives. We'll continue the discussion after this.
A floral arrangement doesn't go straight to your hips or your thighs. Hello, Butte America. Butte Floral Lather and Luxury here. Looking for a special gift? Go the low-fat, low-cal way. A beautiful bouquet from Butte Floral Lather and Luxury. Call 782-6312 or see us in the Hardesty Complex at 1707 Continental Drive. And yes, Butte Floral Lather and Luxury delivers.
United Way of Butte and Anaconda fights for the health, education, and financial stability of every person in every community. This spring, 10 nonprofit agencies are seeking support for 12 programs from United Way of Butte and Anaconda. The donations United Way of Butte and Anaconda receives determines the amount of support they can give these agencies. They're currently at 92% of their $168,000 goal. Your spring donation can help them reach 100%. Call United Way of Butte and Anaconda today to make your donation at 782-1255.
Her clients say she's a good listener. That's the most important quality a real estate agent can have. Janelle Morgan, real estate agent with Century 21 Shea Realty, attentively pays attention to what you want. She listens. Are you ready to sell your home, business, or property? Are you ready to buy a new home, business, or property? Sounds like it's time to call Janelle Morgan at 490-7945. That's Janelle Morgan with Century 21 Shea Realty at 490-7945 in Butte.
Improve your mobility and stay active with the all-new Novastar 8 Rollator from Harrington Surgical Supply. Available in a variety of colors, this rolling walker is lightweight and perfect for outdoor use. Travel with ease with its 8-inch wheels, plus with a padded seat and backrest, feather touch bicycle handbrakes, and built-in storage pouch. It's adjustable and folds and locks for easy storage. The Novastar 8 Rollator is in stock now at Harrington Surgical Supply, 53 East Broadway in historic Uptown Butte, proudly serving southwestern Montana since 1946.
Hey, welcome back. It's the KBOW Party Line, 138 on your Wednesday, April 14th. We're talking gardening today on the Party Line with the Brown Bag Lunch at the Archives. Kim, our hostess here today, and Julie and Shari are joining us on the Party Line as we've been chatting gardening and having a little conversation about the different things that can grow in Butte. And yes, you can grow tomatoes. We were having that conversation. But some of the things that will grow, carrots, potatoes have always done well. Anything in the ground beets do well. Things that you can put in the ground. And Julie, I want to ask you as a master gardener, and Kim, I'll kick it back to you after this, but the length of the growing season really determines what you can really do in Butte, unless you have some kind of greenhouse, hoop house, hot box, whatever it may be.
Yeah, ideally, I usually put my garden in up at the community garden about the middle of June, but now with the hoops and stuff that we have up there and the coverings, that I'm able to put them in a couple weeks earlier. And last year what we did is we covered the garden that we have, the two areas that I have, with black plastic. So we're going to see if that kind of warms up the soil a little bit more, and we can start it maybe a week or two earlier. And we also have some people that came from California. They're actually here for the first time this year, and I've seen now that they've got their hoops up, they've got their plastic covering over the hoops and stuff to try to get
warming the
soil up.
Were they the ones at the talk the other night?
Yeah.
So the library has, is it a monthly?
Yeah,
a monthly series, and I got to be the first person, which is why I know about garden history, because I put together a little presentation, and the Californians, they were from Butte, but they'd been gone for almost 30 years, I think, and so we're coming back. So if you've moved here from someplace else, or even if you've just lived here and never gotten into gardening, how do you learn how to do all this?
Well, the library has lovely gardening books. And we have a nice series that local experts are going to come. Kim was last week, but if you missed it, well, you got to listen to it today.
A little bit of it today.
The next one will be at May 6th at the garden, the community garden. Unfortunately, Kim got kicked out of the garden because it was like 35 degrees.
It was
that
okay.
day.
It was my idea. It was sort of my idea. I went, it's going to be cold. Can I go indoors? And then I went, oh, if I'm indoors, that means I have to have pictures and slides. It was fun.
But the next time, Lisa from Continental Greenhouse is going to come and talk about succulents.
One
Ruby.
of the things that we're thinking about doing is using one of the plots that are out front and planting a rock garden with succulents and some rocks, which you don't have to grow too much.
They grow pretty wild around here.
They
Yeah.
grow great around here.
Some of them may have value to them, so pick carefully.
Yeah. So that's kind of the idea behind having the succulents. And one of the things that we'd like to ask people on May 6th, if they would like to bring succulents that they have in their yard that they would like to donate to starting that little plot area.
Yeah.
I know I've got some wild thyme that will grow, and I've got some hens and chickens and stuff.
And
Those are crazy.
Yeah.
And
They grow
multiply.
so
Yeah.
easily. Like when I'm pulling weeds, I'm always pulling stuff and rearranging and going, well, I'll split this one up, and pretty soon the
Split it
split
10
is,
more times.
Yeah, they really do take off. So succulents in May.
So that's the theme for that one. So
Yeah.
bring your succulents, and we can maybe get that front garden started then.
Yeah.
July, Ruby from Wagner Nursery is going to come.
Oh, she's amazing.
Yeah.
She's fun to listen to.
What's June? Did we skip June?
Well, I think we skipped June. I don't.
Let's
No, nothing in June. Sorry.
Nothing in June.
I think everyone's busy planting their plots.
It's cold. It's still cold in June. All right, so July, Ruby from
Wagner Nursery.
Wagner, nice.
Then we have a little tour, personalized tour of Tizer Arboretum.
I love Tizer Gardens.
You'll have to come out. Yeah,
I
it's
love
actually
it.
at the Arboretum.
Yes,
So
the Arboretum, yeah.
travel up there at 6 p.m. August 5th. There's a gate fee of $9, but bring your bag dinner with you. Little
Yes.
bag snack, like
Yeah.
a brown bag lunch.
It'll be a brown bag dinner.
Yeah, and go
They
through.
have beautiful grounds. If you haven't been there, Tizer Gardens is just a magical place, especially
Isn't
getting
it,
into
though?
August.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Oh, I love it. And they have contributed a little bit to our community garden.
Yeah, last year we planted 3 or 4 trees
Four?
that
Four
Kim
trees.
brought back.
Kara and I shoved 7 trees in the back of my Jeep Cherokee, and it was.
I would have paid to see that.
I'll send you the picture. It's funny. It's just like these 2 little heads surrounded by greenery and all there. So that was really cool. I think you've got 2 pears and 2 apples up from
2
Tizer
pears and 2
Gardens.
apples.
And Richard up there, Richard and Belva are just a tremendous font of knowledge. So, and do you have one in September to close out the year?
Well, actually, we have another one in August. I guess that makes up for June.
2
Yeah.
maybe.
Mike from Harvest Tech is going to talk about soil types in the garden.
Ooh.
And then to round it off, September 9th, Kelly Katahani from MSU Extension is going to come and talk about preservation. So after you grow all of these things, you can figure out how to save them for the winter.
What do we do with them? Yeah.
And to add to your resources, one of the great resources Butte has that most people don't think about is the NCAT.
Yeah.
NCAT has a library of high altitude gardening. I know helped them put up a greenhouse a while ago, and they also have a garden that's for the Butte Food Bank down there. But they have a number of greenhouses now, multiple. But they have a lot of great information, and that's really what NCAT's number one job is, to provide information for people on when it comes to sustainability and doing things at your home. So I know I've looked at them for some of their things that will work, because I'm at over 6,000 feet. So what's going to work, what's not going to work. So that's that really has been a great resource as well.
Cool. I'll
Yeah,
have
we're
to
going to
check that
try
out.
tapping into the resources out there to do some drip gardening for the front. We're hoping that what we'll be able to do is get some new soil in the front gardens, and then plant some vegetables, so when people are going to the Hummingbird for lunch or just walking along the garden, they can stop and take some herbs home, try new things, new foods and stuff. Also some lettuce. We're looking at carrots, radishes, things that people can pick and take home and make a little bit of a salad or something to eat.
You know, maybe if we grew vegetables for the Hummingbird Cafe, they'd let us run an extension cord out the
Rent your extension cord.
Well, right now
Here's
they
some great
donate
tomatoes.
some great things.
Yeah.
Can we have a couple of kilobytes?
Well, it goes with that farm to table
Yeah.
idea. So, and you had mentioned like a wish list of things that you want and a little library maybe?
I'll tell you what, let's get to that. I got to take time out, but I want to come back to that because I think a wish list of what would be needed for the garden, but then also it might be something that people need for their own home gardens. So we'll talk about that. We're going to take one more time out. We'll be back. The KBOW party line. Yep, it's gardening today with the Butte Archives on the Brown Bag Lunch. We'll continue after this.
Find the best steak in the West. The best steak this side of the Continental Divide. The best steak in these here parts. The best steak? Well, it's at the Broken Arrow Steakhouse and Casino in Deer Lodge, where the steaks are cut fresh and never frozen. Your steak dinner always comes with all the Broken Arrow fixins. They offer a varied menu with different items. Play a game or two of Keno or poker while you're in, and be sure to ask about sports betting. Take the short drive to Main Street in Deer Lodge, the Broken Arrow Steakhouse and Casino.
Hi, this is Holly at Southwest Montana Community Health Center, and during the special enrollment period on the health insurance marketplace, you will have access to lower premiums and cost sharing. When you submit a new or existing application, you will find lowered premiums that can save you money or give you access to a plan with better coverage. Prices have been reduced and the upper limits have been removed, so everyone can get help paying for premiums. For assistance, to make an appointment, or to speak to a certified application counselor, call 723-4075 at Southwest Montana Community Health Center.
This is Christine at the Continental Gardens. Welcome to a great facility right in the heart of Butte, Montana. We offer endless opportunities for today's engaged senior. Upscale apartments, a vibrant atmosphere, walking trails right out the door, access to the city bus and the Belmont Senior Center bus, and so much more. Live independently. Love where you live. Call the Continental Gardens today and get on our waiting list. 533-0705. The Continental Gardens, 100 Garden Way in Butte.
Lifetime of love, you lived a lifetime of love.
When a loved one passes on, families must find a way to go on.
Mom gave us a lifetime of love. In a special way, we wanted to thank her for that.
In a time of loss, allow us to serve your family and create a tribute of a lifetime.
The lifetime of love.
Memories of a Lifetime of Love, Dugan Dolan Mortuary, We Care, at 1805 Meadowlark, 723-3239.
We're back, the KBOW party line. Through our gardening discussion, we figured out that Kim she's got a brown finger.
I do
Killing
not.
plastic plants, I think
do
is what's.
not.
Oh no, you just can't grow anything in your garden. Sorry, Julie, that was my comment about killing plastic plants. But
I have beautiful flowers.
okay, we're okay with that. You don't have to
Good.
defend yourself.
I'm not.
So she just can't get anything to grow.
I am quite the landscaper. I'm more of a landscape gardener, I guess you would
I
say.
like it.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that because, of course, we need those landscapers to attract bees.
Yes.
Because
I wanna
without bees,
yeah.
we're in trouble. And
Yep.
that's got to be a major concern for anybody with a garden.
Yes.
So
We had a great show of sunflowers last year at the community garden, and the bees loved it. And
I bet.
So we do have a couple little areas up there where we do have flowers for people to enjoy, perennials, and then a huge raspberry patch. And so, yeah, one of the
raspberries
things
do great here.
They do, yeah. And last year we kind of pruned back everything, got them going again, and we have a whole row of hops, and so that was kind of a fun thing to see grow. And then we did have one of the breweries here came, and we got everybody picked the hops, and then we had brew day. So
I love it when they do that.
Yeah.
And you just mentioned, I said there's something growing in my front room I didn't know was sunflowers.
Sunflowers.
We have the giant elephants and
wow.
like 5 or 6 different sizes of sunflowers we're growing because we were trying to attract bees.
Right.
And if you would like to attract bees to your yard, okay, or flowers, again, the seed library at the library.
We have flowers.
Oh, we have them. So all you have to do is come up. I think there's must be over 1,000 seed packages up there in the library.
Yeah.
So come and get some
Yeah,
free.
we have plenty. Come and get some free seeds.
I might donate some seeds because I have about 2 gallons of marigold seeds. I don't know, everybody has marigold seeds, but I'm going to put them in my gutter instead of digging all that dirt out of the street. I'm just going to put marigold seeds in there and see what happens.
And hollyhocks.
So,
hollyhocks.
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 So, you were telling me about maybe building a little free library up there of
Yeah,
books.
Shari can probably talk a little bit more about that.
Well, free libraries are great. They're just a little box, and you come and you grab what you need, and if you have a few books, you put them out. I have one in my neighborhood.
I have one in my yard.
There's one right here on Sampson Street behind us. There's another one over, what is it, Oregon, where it turns that corner going behind the M&M, or the Met. The Met Tavern right back there. There's because I always look for them because I think they're just great that people do that.
Well, and there's if they're registered, if they're tagged as part of the little free library, there's a national directory international directory. So
is this what you're gonna do at the garden?
We get tons of gardening books at the Butte Public Library, and so we thought we'd build a little house maybe, garden, for our gardening books, so you can come and learn. Get some tips.
Get some free seeds, get some free gardening books. And if you have some gardening books that you would like to donate to the library and to the Park Street Community Garden, if you'd like to bring those to the library, we'll make sure that they get into that little free library box, and so that people can have free library books to take home too.
And do you accept donations of other things?
Like money. Okay. Because
you can't grow that. Come on, Julie, you're a master gardener.
We've tried, but
the money tree doesn't really produce
yet.
One of the things that we would like to do is replace a fence so that we can make sure that all the rabbits and the dogs stay out. And the fence is beautiful all around except for the west side of the garden. So that's one of the projects, and we want to build those cold frames that we talked about. We need to redo our compost bins because they've definitely gotten some wear and tear. We have a beautiful shed with a whole bunch of tools, and so those are actually well stocked, but we need probably a weed eater yet. And so if anybody feels inclined, if they would like to donate some money at the library, we gladly
into the
accept
library.
it. Yep.
Well,
and then the big thing that we need are people that like to weed or would just don't want to do a whole garden for the whole year, but would like to come up to the Park Street Community Garden and garden for a day. And so we will be planning some days where people can just come and do some weeding and
soak up
be a
some
volunteer.
sun and pull some weeds. I love
mean,
weeding.
to be able to garden without having to deal with all the chores of gardening, but the fun things that, go up, sit, relax, pull weeds, talk to the plants, do those fun things. But how would they sign up to do that? Do they call the library?
Yes, they can actually. We have a volunteer list, that we put together. And then we do have a Facebook page. It's Park Street Community Gardens, and when we do those days, we'll be putting those on those days. Also, the library. If you belong to the library, we'll be putting out information on the library.
Yeah,
Emails.
we always have. I always update the Facebook pages, so all the events and all the happenings are on there. But if you have any questions, we do still have 2 plots left. So they're $30 a piece if you'd like one this year. We had 2 plots that were sponsored. 2 of our gardeners bought an extra plot and then donated that extra plot. So right now we're working with MSU Extension. They work with families who are food insecure. So they're going to take over those 2 plots and work on growing food for the community.
Oh, I love it.
Nice.
It's fantastic.
Nice. Now, the food, when you rent a plot, you don't have to give the food away to somebody.
It's
you
yours.
can keep it. It's your food, right?
Yes.
So you can either keep it or donate it to the food bank or whomever. So
It's only the beds out front
Right.
that you can feel free to grab a handful of raspberries. Inside, it's somebody's growing that, and it's there.
Somebody's private garden.
Right.
Yeah.
I always try to encourage, though, we have little kids that come with their parents and stuff to garden and stuff. So if we can get them to come in and pluck a tomato or pull up an onion and just see the flowers and stuff, it's so much fun to see those kids enjoying the gardens up there.
And of course, what I like about it is like in Butte, zucchini or things like that go crazy. And then going out and finding new recipes for them. We made a zucchini onion pie to die for, by the way. But things like that, and you find these things, and because they grow so well. Now, how can I change it to give it a different flavor, or grilling zucchini or whatever? But just finding different ways to create a great meal out of these fresh produce that you're growing.
The library does have cookbooks, too.
Yep, cookbooks.
I just bought a bunch of new cookbooks.
I like the way you think.
I am divesting myself of cookbooks.
1,001 ways to make Swiss chard.
I collect
You can keep
certain
that
ones.
stuff.
Yeah.
That's something I don't like.
Oh. Really?
My wife loves it, and I hate it.
I had never had it.
My children hate it.
My father-in-law grew a beautiful garden on the north side of his garage, of all places. Beautiful, and he had some beautiful Swiss chard, and I'd never heard of it, let alone tasted it, and it's really good.
Yeah, I'm glad you like it. You can have mine.
Well, you can have all the other vegetables.
Cool. I'm good with that.
Potatoes, carrots, some lettuces, that's about it.
There's a lot you can grow and a lot of good things.
Yes.
And again, your classes, we got just about 30 seconds here. So if somebody wants to catch more of what's going on at the library?
Yeah, go to the library's Facebook page, go to the Park Street Community Garden Facebook page. It's all there.
The next one, though, is May 6th. So
May 6th, about succulents.
Come and bring your succulents that you would like to do and try planting them. Okay? And see how they grow.
And
it's fun
come
to
look
come
at our
back.
historic pictures up at the archives. See if you can find your house among the gardens that existed in the 1930s.
Well, ladies, thank you. Gardening in Butte, it can be done. And it has been done.
It will be done.
And it will be done again.
Yes.
And thank you for coming in and joining us today, our Brown Bag Lunch. And thanks to the archives for letting us be a part of it here on your hometown station. You guys have a great rest of your Wednesday, and we'll be back tomorrow with Open Phones Montana. Take care. God bless.
There's always fun in motion at the Big Red Barn. Old-fashioned service, that's what sets us apart. Where you can win and laugh out loud. The hokey pokey is what it's all about. Where neighborhood people have good old-fashioned fun. There's always something here for everyone. Everybody knows the place to go. Crazy Carol's Casino and Mill Bar.
Welcome Andrew Bognano, MD, to Community Hospital of Anaconda. Dr. Bognano is an obstetrician and gynecologist. He received his undergraduate degree from Fairfield University, went to medical school at St. George University School of Medicine, and did his residency at the University of Buffalo Department of Gynecology and Obstetrics. And he is a husband, animal lover, and outdoor enthusiast as well. Call Pintler Family Medicine at 563-7282. Community Hospital of Anaconda. Care for a lifetime.
Are you searching for someone that can make custom trophies and plaques to represent your organization, events, or yourself? Visit Silverbow Trophy and Engraving. They deliver professional-looking keepsakes that carry your request proudly. Silverbow Trophy and Engraving also offers laser engraving and engraves copper cups and specialty items, quick turnaround and affordable pricing. Silverbow Trophy and Engraving, 500 East 3rd Street, Uptown Butte.